country fueling its long march towards superpower status. All right, let's get to our panel of guests. Ruben Mondahar is Director of Global Business Management Program at the City University of Hong Kong. Also joining him is Jan Friedrich, Senior Economist, Global Forecasting at the Economist Intelligence Unit, the EIU, both live out of Hong Kong. Gentlemen, good morning. Great to have you with us. Just very, very quickly, both of you, just state your case. China, bull or bear? Ruben?
I'm bullish. I'm bullish for China.
Okay, Jan?
Yes.
It's going well right now. I think I'm a bit more skeptical on the very long term.
Ah, okay. And Ruben, why are you bullish?
Well, because China has traditionally been self-reliant and has not been so globalized, and they came late in this game of globalization. So they have not been hit full blast in the onslaught of the financial global tsunami.
Okay.
So with a very huge domestic market, that's very good.
Indeed, but Jan, the flip side of that, what insulates them could also hold them back because it's going to take a heck of a long time to transition to less dependence on exports and more dependence on domestic consumption and investment.
Indeed, that's something that is going to be a very, very long process to have a soundly consumption-driven economy, and that may well take much longer than 5 years or so.
Okay, and you know, we were talking about this earlier this morning, looking at the much bigger picture of China since Tiananmen, and that is the development, the richness, the wealth, the lifting of millions of people out of poverty. It's come at a bit of a price in terms of politics. Going forward, Ruben Mondahar, does China need to become democratic, or at least move in that direction, for it to sustain this level of growth and development? Or does it not matter?
Move in, yes, I think you put it very well. Move in that direction, but I think at the pace that China would have to decide for itself, because they have so many factors to factor in. And therefore, they cannot just rush forward. Democracy has also its price. And, you know, when we talk of democracy, we don't mean one democracy. There are many democracies.
Interesting. A pluralistic community is what you're talking about. Jan, money, investment, foreign investment, as important as it is for China, even though it's got tons of money itself, is foreign money apolitical on China? Does it care whether it moves faster or more towards democracy?
I don't think that the political system really does matter very much. In fact, there are, in a way, few systems that are so friendly to capital than China, in terms of no organized free trade unions available, for example. Actually, it is a very capital-friendly system, and that also is very much appreciated by international corporations. They are not really particularly interested in the political specifics of the regime.
Jan, in your view, has the government done enough to address this disparity in the income gap between the rich and the poor that we have been seeing widening? Is there enough done to arrest any potential social instability in China?
I don't think enough has been done, and I don't think that the government believes enough has been done. They are very actively working on expanding efforts to reduce the gap. Nonetheless, I think as this gap continues to increase, and that's just a process of normal strong growth, the resulting tensions will increasingly become quite a serious challenge for the political system.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit more, Ruben. Foreign money might not care about whether democracy takes hold in China or not. The Chinese themselves, though, may, if only because of this income disparity that they talk about, which they are going to want the government to do something about, don't you think?
Well, as you know, the problems they have in income disparity, I think, is not unique to a developing economy like China. That's part of any process that from a developing economy that keeps on moving upwards. So I think there's nothing surprising about what's taking place there. Now, about democracy, it's not so much. I agree with Jan. It doesn't matter really 100% whether it's democracy, provided the fundamentals of capital and all of that and investment are there. But, you know, it becomes internationally friendly. So it will help them in their international relations.
All right, understood. Okay, the pair of you, Ruben, also Jan, be back with you in just a little bit. Thursday morning, Squawk Box Asia. Let's get back to our talk on China. Ruben Mondahar is from the City University of Hong Kong, and Jan Friedrich is from the Economist Intelligence Unit. Both of them staying with us out of Hong Kong. Gentlemen, you know, when you think about it, something the size and scale of China in terms of geography, 1.3 billion people as well, growing even in a slowdown at, say, 7%, is a frightening thought. I mean, to fuel that growth, we've seen China go out there try and secure supply chains. So far, the way that it's exercised or expressed its clouded influence is what's known as soft power. But in a crisis like this, when foreign governments and countries get more protectionist and China feels thwarted, what is the risk that China could turn to what's known as hard power, maybe even, let's say, and it's got the capital, fund insurgencies or basically stir up trouble to get what it wants, Ruben?
Yeah, hard power is not one-issue power. So hard power means it comes with military might, economic might, international relations might, weight in the United Nations and Security Council, all of those together. So then that's when they can really exercise what you can call, you know, it can be, I'll call it, it can be nasty if it really goes bad. But at the same time, I don't fear so much the 8% growth because China is coming down from very low. So in other words, they really need a lot of catching up to do. But of course, the size of the economy, all of that gives an impression that, okay, once this is up in the global scene, then they can dwarf everybody else. So I think the role of, the international community is to really call China into its arms and join the family of nations. So it can really join the discussion and be a good partner in all the talks.
Indeed, better to engage it. Jan, let me ask you, China, if it does hit, I mean, consensus right now is 7% growth this year, maybe just a bit south of that. Does it worry you that even at this pace of growth, you've still got a fair number of protests, demonstrations, angry displaced farmers, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, there was always the government line that below 8% you would see a surge in civil unrest. I found that always a little bit implausible because, I mean, you had civil unrest well above 8%, and obviously it'll surge as soon as it'll decline and go quite a bit below 8%. I don't think the amount of civil unrest that we're going to see this year is anything particularly regime-threatening. Just maybe going back on the issue of international tensions. I think one issue is also that China is so heavily dependent on foreign importers that it is actually itself very much exposed to in a sense, blackmail if they cut off their imports from China. So China has to be very careful, and it's not that easy for China to deploy hard power measures for that reason.
Okay, interesting stuff. Listen, all right, gentlemen, we're just out of time. I wish we had more time, but maybe we'll have you on again for another edition. We'll have to let it go there. We've been talking to Ruben Mondahar from the City University of Hong Kong, also Jan Friedrich from the Economist Intelligence Unit, both of them from our studios live up in Hong Kong. We've got data breaking out of Australia, bottom of the hour, plus Chinese markets opening up. We'll get to both coming up right after this. Don't go away.